Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Capricorn on the 17th of January at 2:17 AM Universal Time, and outlining what the themes are for the first new moon of 2018 will be, and highlighting some of the aspects to it which have to influence the themes it involves. Now, with the new moon in Capricorn, this is obviously a time for setting new intentions, and these will be in areas to do with Capricorn, like our goals, being the authority of our own lives, through taking the actions and steps necessary in order for us to manifest our goals, and to develop qualities like self-discipline, self-control, and self-sufficiency, which over time allow us to accomplish our goals through taking the steady, consistent steps necessary to manifest any goal over the long term. So, with the new moon in Capricorn, it's also time to take a moment to pause and turn inwards and figure out what it is that we need to work on, need to develop, that the new moon brings the opportunity to develop, and then set our intentions based on that. It's also an opportunity to see how can we elevate the function of Capricorn within our own lives. So how can we move it beyond just need for public recognition, for social status, of sense of accomplishment, and how can we move it towards the next level up, which is understanding that there's a natural order to everything, and that if we can align our actions with that order and be true to ourselves as well, then our goals will manifest more easily, because we're not trying to fight the natural laws, we're working with them, and we focus on making sure that the public persona or public identity that we show to other people is a reflection of who we are on the inside. So it requires that for us to have done the inner work first, for the previous 9 signs of understanding who we are, understanding our core nature, our beliefs, our dreams, our visions, and then taking steps that are aligned with that, rather than just settling for a substitute goal which may bring us worldly success, but doesn't bring us the satisfaction that can only truly come from a goal that is aligned with who we are and is right for us. Because otherwise, the success may well feel empty. So we may also decide to set a goal about being our authentic selves in the public arena, of having the courage to drop the masks and show people who we are. Now, in terms of Capricorn and public identity, what I mean by that is this is how people who don't know us that well see us. It's not descendant, which is the identity that people who know us well see in terms of our worldly mask. In Capricorn, this is about how people who don't know us well see us and perceive us. And for them to see us clearly, we have to be authentic and we have to be true to who we are. So, if for whatever reason this is an area that we struggle with, then the new moon is an opportunity to deal with this, to look into it, and maybe meditate at the time of the new moon in order to see what insights come to us that shows which goals will be the best ones for us to set. I mean, if we know that self-discipline or self-control or patience and perseverance are an area that we struggle with, then this is a good time to set a goal in these areas, but also remember to work on them on a consistent basis. With setting intentions, it's not a one-time deal. You have to actually take action in order for it to manifest, otherwise nothing's going to happen. So the new moons just show us the suitable sorts of goals to be setting at any given time. But it's entirely up to us to actually take the steps necessary to manifest it. It's not going to happen automatically if we don't take any action towards it. In terms of other aspects taking place, we've got the new moon is in very close conjunction to Venus. She's actually past the sun now, but if she, at this time, we may well feel that, or having the Venus is behind the sun, so we can't actually see her. But this is a time of looking at our values, of maybe setting intentions to align our values more with who we are, and to look at how we approach relationships, and with Capricorn, it's dealing with things like commitment. So, are we actually committed in our relationships, or is it just giving it? Are we just giving it lip service? And it's also looking at the practicalities of a relationship and looking at its long-term prospects. So, if we don't commit to a relationship, it's highly unlikely it'll last the long haul. So this is a time when new moon may well highlight a time to look at our attitude towards commitment. Do we actually embrace it, or are we actually secretly afraid of relationships and we prefer to keep them at arm's length and just give lip service to the other person? Because if we don't commit to a relationship, then more than likely we'll fail eventually. And if we actually value the relationship, then it's important that we commit our time to nurturing it and spending time with the other person and spending time understanding each other and helping each other feel heard and understood. So that's the Venus part. Now we also have a sextile to Mars at the same time. Mars is over in Scorpio at the moment and is currently highlighting where, with Scorpio, it's transforming the desire nature. It's understanding where our desires and actions are inappropriate or where they're driven by our shadow side, and learning to transform them through quite often it requires some degree of healing. It also requires a bit of forgiveness of ourselves, because none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have periods where we get knocked off track, but Scorpio is about transforming our desires and transforming our actions to make sure that they're actually aligned with who we are and that we're not trying to be something that we're not. And it's also learning to overcome our need to exert power and control over other people. Because at the end of the day, control is actually an illusion. The only thing we have any real control over is ourselves, and we can't necessarily control the world and the external events around us, but we can control our response to them. So with Mars going through Scorpio, part of it is the learning to let go of the need to control other people, let go of the need for use actions that dominate and manipulate other people, and learn that we can't control others, we can only control ourselves. So if we can let go of these shadow desires, which are based on the need to feel secure through control, and instead accept that if we transform our desires and let go of worrying what other people will do and letting go of any fears around those areas, then we can surrender to a higher power. And Mars, instead of being about action and desire, becomes devotion. It's devotion to a cause. I mean, Scorpio also deals with the most intimate aspects of relationships. It could be devotion to a relationship that is, as long as it's mutually empowering. If we devote ourselves to the wrong relationship where we're being taken advantage of, then that's never a really good thing. But Mars is in the sextile to the new moon, so this indicates that we have an opportunity to align our actions and desires with the goals we set at the new moon. But again, we have to make the choice to do that. It's not forced upon us. The other aspect is the Sun is still the new moon is still in a fairly loose conjunction with Pluto. It won't last much longer. Be fading out within a day or so. But this is still a time or an opportunity for transformation to take place in the sense of our public identity through the polarising of the psyche in order to purge the shadow stuff or the false selves that we've held on to for a long time, so that all that's left behind is our true self. And the other aspect is we have a sextile to Chiron. So this is a time where Chiron is still in Pisces, so within about 3 months we'll have moved signs into Aries. But during this time we're wrapping up the Chiron in Pisces theme of the wounds of disconnection, the wounds of feeling disconnected from other people, disconnected from source, and the actions and dysfunctional behaviours we engage in as a result of that feeling of disconnection, where we then end up having to pursue other means to try and feel the connection with energy itself. So the new moon is an opportunity to transform the wound to the sense of identity, and to learn to, rather than just shine for our own sake. It's Chiron and the Sun in connection to one another is about shining our light for the benefit of the greater good, or the greater whole. So it's not just shining our light for our own personal gain, it's shining it for the sake of others. It's learning to tap into a higher power, of letting universal love flow through us and dissolve some of the wounds. And in the process, as we fill with light, we learn to shine that light for the greater good, rather than just for our own personal gain. And lastly, the new moon is also in a square to Uranus, so this is a time where I may feel, the new moon is bringing about new changes, but it was also looking, with Uranus here, it's dealing about what changes we make, and are we resistant to them? Do we fight change, and do we try to stick rigidly with the status quo? Or do we embrace it and allow it to guide us in our path, and allow it to show us the next step? So it's breaking down the egoic barriers that shut up the intuition, that prevent us from, or drowns out the intuition. Instead, learn to tap into the intuition which is coming from the higher mind, and identifying what changes it's shown us that we need to make, and having the courage to make them. Because it's one thing to know what changes we need to make. If we don't make them, yet we know that we are, it's going to cause suffering within us. So it's learning to embrace change, to allow revelations to change a sense of self-identity through awakening to the parts of ourselves that are true, and shedding the bits which are false. So there's a lot going on, but I hope it's a useful guide for the new moon Capricorn. There's a lot of potential for new growth for us to achieve here, but as I've said before, we have to take the actions to create this. It's not going to happen automatically for us. We actually have to take the steps necessary to manifest anything new. Otherwise, it's just going to be an idea or a dream. It will never be reality, and it's converting something into reality, which is Capricorn's forte. But as I said, we have to make the choice to do that. It's never going to be forced upon us. The astrology merely shows us the kind of opportunities that are available to us, the sorts of things we can achieve right now. But any achievements we make will only come about through taking action and making sure that we commit to a goal rather than being half-hearted about it. So I hope that's a useful guide for the new moon in Capricorn. There's a lot there, but I hope it helps you to understand what sort of goals would be good ones to set for yourself. But the more you know yourself, the more likely it is you'll know what the best thing to set for you will be anyway. So may the new moon bring you many blessings. Take care.